Ladies and gentlemen, lend me your ears and your eyes. Diva Divine Light, live from Brooklyn, New York.
Know your lane and what you saying, yo. Silly with my 9 milli with the dilly, yo. When I be on the mic, yes, I do my duty, yo. While up in the club, I be while in the studio. You don't wanna vibe, nigga, really and truly, yo. My main thug, nigga named Julio, he moody, yo. I'm a nigga that'll slap me with the tulio. Bitch, nigga scared to death, act fruity, yo. Fuck that, look at shorty, she a little cutie, yo. The way you shake it, make me wanna get all in the booty, yo. With no lanes and what you saying, yo.
Diva Divine Light.
Really my heart to be. That's what you got for me. Good for the kids with my class to see. Still $1 in the place to be. If you really my heart to be. That's what you got for me. Good for the kids with my class to see. Still $1 in the place to be. If you.
You're watching Diva, the Divine Light. A fun-loving, caring, passionate person who talks about sex, celebrity, and real-life issues, and even abuse. So hit that like button and make sure you share the show.
Really my heart to be. That's what you got for me. Good for the kids with my class to see. Still $1 in the place to be. If you really my heart to be. That's what you got for me. Good for the kids with my class to see. Still $1 in the place to be. If you really my heart to be. That's what you got for me. Good for the kids with my class to see. Still $1 in the place to be. If you really my heart to be. That's what you got for me. Good for the kids with my class to see. Still $1 in the place to be. If you.
Here comes the pitch, and it comes in wide. On the combo.
Yo, 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 yo. What's up, everybody? Sorry about that. Having a little difficulty in the background. What's going on? What's going on? Good evening, everybody. My husband is cooking tonight, guys. Ty, it's your favorite Ty. He's cooking your favorite, mama. When he's done, I'm going to show you the plate. I got a great husband. He loves me and his family. How about that? Hi, guys. Hello, everybody. Let me say what's up to everybody in the building. Let me shout y'all out. The whole OCOV family. Mwah, 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 mwah. Y'all know who you are. You know, we got those bloggers out there. Larry. Hurry up and come home, Larry. Larry. Sweet feet need to hurry up. Puñeta. Diva time. What's up, mama? Hey, cool gamer. What's up, Jackie? Hey, daddy's girl. Thank you, cool gamer. I'm glad you're out for the summer, mama. Diva time. That's what's up, mommy. Kayla dos. ¿Qué está pasando, mamita? Hola, mi chica chica. Bev Davis, what's up, Bev? Hey, Queen Newton, what's up, chula? Who else? Boston. What's up, Boston? I'm in love with love. What's up, mama? You finally got a notification. Amen. Hey, gamer bro. What's up? What's happening, bro? How are you? Welcome back. Welcome back. I'm doing great. How are you? Candy. What's up, Candy? What's up, chula? Eva. What's up, happy Eva? Sonia. What's up, mama? Make sure we get everybody in the building rocking with the truth. What's up, my baby girl? My ladies are in the building. Tears. My happy tears. What's up, baby? Hi, sissy. What's up, my love? Okay, baby, no problem. Please keep your focus on the driving. Okay? Yes. Ta. Wait a minute, puñeta. Why are you not green? Is this another? Are you on another? Ta. Okay, she's on the other channel. All right. No, he's not putting no bacon. No bacon, Ty. No bacon, baby. All beef. Just all beef. No pork. Yes, please make sure to hit that like button. Thank you. Who else is in here? Oh, wait. That shit went by too fast. Hold on. Oh, unique. Babe. You finally called me, my love. I know it's like 9 p.m. where you're at, but I'm glad you called me, my love. What's up, baby? T-Bam. What's up, sissy? What's up? What's up? Who else? Who else? True Strong Warrior. What's up, sister? Hi, baby. Who else? Classy J. Girl. We need to talk later. Yeah, you know I'm going to pull your ear, right? You know I'm going to pull your ear, but I love you. But I'm going to pull your ear. That's what sisters do. Okay. I love you. Girl. So, what's up, Classy J? Okay. Wings! My twin. What's up, baby? Indigo, what's up, my love? What's up, my love? Okay, everybody saying hello. Yes, please make sure you hit the like buttons. I want to make sure oh, it's 10:45, mamita. I'm sorry. Okay. 10:45, my love. It's evening time for you, so maybe I might put your ass to sleep. I don't know. I do that to people. I put them to sleep. That's what I'm hearing. I put them to sleep. Classy J. Classy, pow, pow, classy, classy. I love you, classy. You already know. Girl. I know you fucking cracking up. You know, I know you cracking up. What happened now? With what, babe? With what, Ty? ¿Qué pasó with what, Ty? There's a lot of things going on. That's que es lo que pasó. That's what happened. Hey, Jennifer. What's up, loca? Yes, I love you, classy. Yes, girl. So, Lord have mercy. I know you guys already did the Rule 29 motion. You know, a lot of people have spoke about it already. I haven't. It's old news to you, but it's new news to me. Okay? Okay. Yes. Sorry if I missed anyone as well. I love yous all. Welcome back to the Diva Divine Light Show, where over here we bring truth, honesty, and a lot of happiness. Okay? Let's go. That's right, mamita. Let me share my screen with y'all. Okay. Oh, my window's not popping up. Why? Okay, hold on. All right. Maybe that's why. Strange. Okay. Maybe that's why. Okay. So this should be the window. Share. Okay, you guys. All right. So now what we're going to talk about today has to deal with the Eastern District of New York trial. Okay, which he was found guilty on all 9 counts. Well, there was more than 9 counts, but he got found guilty on 9 counts. And right now we're waiting for sentencing. And his new sentencing date, they pushed it back due to this document right here in front of your face. Bonjean had put in a motion to push back the trial because of the mitigation report that has to go in to the PSR, which is the pre-sentencing report for R. Kelly. So a mitigation report, certain parts of it, you know, his interview, which is the most important parts, has to talk about his life, his school, his friends, impact statements, all these things they have to gather up and put it together in a file and give it to the judge. And the judge looks all of this over, and this is how she weighs the guidelines against leniency, you know. So the guidelines say that he needs to be put away for life, right? Because he's a level 43 offense. So level 43 offense, the guideline for that is life. So this mitigation report is very important because it will determine his sentencing. It will help determine to make a decision on if she's going to be lenient to give him life or say, well, I'm going to give you 50 years. Okay? The minimum is 10 years. Okay? So she could be super nice and say, I'm going to give you 10 years And she could be, you know what, I got to go with what the law says, and the law says you deserve the max, and that's life. Or she could say, well, you know what, I'm going to be nice and I'm going to give you, they say life, but I'm going to give you 50 years. Just because, your age, you have children, your family members are begging, for mercy, some of the girls say that they still love you, even though you ruined their lives. Things of this nature could pop up. Oh, you never got the help that you needed. Unfortunately, I wish you would have. But I'm only going to give you this amount. Sorry. So that's what's going on with that. All right. Okay. Um, okay. So, all right. So, as I said, this document was filed on May 19th, right? And it's a 3-page document, and it's document number 297 in the Eastern District of New York file. Okay, so she writes to Judge Donnelly, and she says that she respectfully requests leave to a supplemental sentencing submission, right? Now, the supplemental submission it says that in most federal cases, both the criminal defense attorney and the federal prosecutor will submit a sentencing memo due to the court arguing in support of their requested sentence. And a lot of times these documents are most often lengthy and could include legal arguments as to the sentencing guidelines, as well as mitigating evidence. Okay. And that's what Bonjean, that's the reason why, because the mitigating evidence, they didn't have enough time to do that. It was supposed to be a certain day and time, but because of COVID and other things happening in the MCC and their rules, things had to be changed. So Bonjean was requesting that the sentencing be changed due to the fact that the report that was supposed to be done within a certain amount of time won't be, because of X, Y, and Z that was going on in the MDC. Okay. I didn't mean MCC. I meant MDC, which is the Metropolitan Detention Center in New York, in Brooklyn, because there's another one in New York. So like I said, so it's to put in for arguments about the sentencing guidelines, his mitigating evidence, also the character letters and expert reports, psychiatry and things of that nature. And if there are any disputes with the pre-sentencing report that was prepared by the probation office, the sentencing memorandum will also address this issue. So once this report is done, if there is any issues, they can continue to address the issue. And that it should be noted that the actual federal sentencing hearing is not normally a lengthy process. Okay? Federal sentencing, the hearing, is not normally a lengthy process. So when I go down to that sentencing, it shouldn't be that long of a hearing. Okay? And this means that sentencing memos submitted on behalf of the defendant could be the most crucial document in the process. So that is very, very important. So that's a reason why Judge Donnelly had to have no choice but to push that sentencing from the 15th to the 29th. She had to give her that time because that's no fault of her own. Ooh, dinner's done. Ooh, guys, did you hear that? So this is why she put in this memo, okay? For one of those reasons. All right. And she says that the supplemental sentencing submission, upon receipt of the expert reports from defendant's mitigation expert, is expected to be received on June 9th, 2022. Now, the government does not object to a supplemental submission if defendant cannot obtain the reports prior to May 26th. And the problem was that he could not. So alternatively, the defendant is seeking an extension until June 13th. So being that she asked for the extension for the report to be filed by June 13th, his sentencing had to be pushed. Okay? And like she says here, in which to file his sentencing submission and request that the sentencing hearing be pushed back by a week or even a few days. She was asking her nicely, like, listen, please, give me a few extra days behind this, because then she has to look at the stuff, right? And she states also that the government has expressed its desire to keep the sentencing date on June 15th. Like Judge Donnelly said, I don't want to push this back again. I don't. We need to hurry up. But the defendant's preference is to adjourn the due date for sentencing submissions and the sentencing hearing date by a week, say roughly June 22nd of 2022. But she will take what he could get. She says, listen, he'll take what he could get, though. The week of June 22nd, that's fine. If that date is good, we can do it. But she'll take what she could get, right? So the judge wound up putting in an order, and she responded to that. And she changed it. And she said, okay, so the report must be due by the 13th of 2022. And I'll give you said till June 22nd, but I'll give you till the 29th. So she gave her till the 29th of June. So now his new sentencing hearing date is June 29, 2022. Okay? And that's for the Eastern District of New York, that we know he is charged for, I think it was 14 counts, and he only got 9. I believe that's what it was. I can't remember exactly. Don't quote me on that. But he was definitely convicted of 9. Okay? Now, she says in here that by way of background, that undersigned counsel was retained by the defendant to write post-trial motions, okay, and assist at sentencing, and to represent him in the Second Circuit, for his appeal. Okay. Now, she says in here, which I think is a mistake. You see how I highlighted red? She made a mistake because here it says she filed her appearance in this case on October 29, 2022. But how is that possible if we're in May? Right? So she made an error here. Her error is, I gather, she filed her appearance in this case on October 29th of 2021, not 2022. So she did make an error here. It's 2021. All right. So for those who were reading it and stuff like that and didn't make that correction, let me correct it. Let me help Bone Jean out here. She made a boo-boo. We all make a little spelling error or a date error or two, or make a mistake in the age. These things happen, but we have to be careful with what we do. I could understand she's doing all of this shit in a rush. You know what I mean? I get it. So then she continues to say that, to be clear, undersigned counsel was not retained to undertake defendant's entire post-trial defense and sentencing representation. Right, because remember, at first, when she first came in, she was just doing it for the appeal. She was just here to do the appeal process for his sentencing, for his case, for a new trial, for an acquittal. That was it. That's all. That's what she came in for. Right? But then she wound up representing him in his post-trial defense, okay, and sentencing, as well as his appeal process for when that step is ready to go into the next step of the court, right? And she's also defending him in Chicago. And she's defending Bill Cosby, which she said that case should be short and sweet. So, however, after reading the voluminous record in this case and drafting post-trial motions, it became clear that undersigned counsel would have to raise ineffective assistance of counsel claims that placed other members of his trial team in a conflicted position. Now, give me 1 second, guys. I got to serve the family. Give me 1 second. That's for you, Ty. Enjoy. Yes, it has Parmesan cheese on top, guys. Enjoy. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I'm back. Okay. So, as I was saying, they changed it for the reasons of that. Okay. So, she says that it became clear that undersigned counsel would have to raise the ineffective assistance of counsel claims. Okay. She's putting the blame on Greenberg and everybody else. They were not effective because technically they should have used those text messages, right? Or raised certain questions during trial or even before trial because they had discovery. So, being that they had discovery, they were supposed to be looking into all these things. And they didn't. They just nitpicked stuff towards the end. Why? Because, first of all, it started off with Greenberg, Leonard, right? And Doug. Then Nicole. They were all together. Then it wound up, all of them wound up leaving to where it was Canick and Scholar. So now these guys have to catch up in what, 3 months, 2 months on his whole trial? Like, and I'm pretty sure they were busy doing other things. They had other cases. I'm pretty sure he wasn't the only one they had to deal with, right? Oh boy. But they say out here in these streets that um, R. Kelly's ex-lawyers didn't want to do their job, because everybody wanted to shine. Everybody wanted to shine. R. Kelly didn't want to cooperate. People were lying. The fans were being crazy. They got Doug fired. I mean, Sylvia doesn't realize, these people are crazy. Thank you, honey. I just don't get it. If you want to send your money, send your money. Send it straight to him. Stop with the shenanigans. So here she was speaking about before moving to withdraw, defendant's attorneys had not retained any mitigation expert. So February 1st of 2022, okay, they raised this conflicted position of the ineffective counsel February 1st in docket number 264. So she's saying that in and around that time, the defendant's team withdrew, which is when they did, right? And before moving to withdraw, the defendant's attorneys, shall I say, had not retained any mitigation experts or completed any mitigation investigation as best as defendant can tell. Now he was convicted in September, guys. September. You had October, November, December, January. He had all that time. His defense team had all that time to do these things, and they didn't. So she's letting the judge know that you done? You don't want them on? You good? You don't want them on? Okay. Oh, you're nice and fat. My husband stuffed off of his food. So now, um, being that that is what was going on, she's saying that they weren't, they really weren't working for R. Kelly. I agree. They could have done better for that man. But it is what it is. It still doesn't make a difference. He's still guilty. I mean, regardless of the fact he went through trial, he did get found guilty by his peers, right? 12 people of his peers found him guilty. So all this wouldn't have mattered. I mean, those text messages at the end of the day, I mean, those text messages, yeah, they show that the mom enticed the daughter to perform in a certain way with Mr. Kelly, right? And those text messages also in play, was speaking a dialogue with the daughter in a playful manner. I get that it was playful, but you don't do that with your child, not at 17. And then the man's history, his background, regardless of whether he was found guilty or not. He was acquitted. So they threw the case out, right? The parents weren't expecting for their daughter to be abused. They just thought R. Kelly liked little girls and that he liked to have sex with them. And that maybe their daughter could be the next Aaliyah, having a career and married to R. Kelly because she's old enough at 18. They gave a permission slip to let her go. In their eyes, it only made sense. 17 is the legal consent in Chicago. Am I right? Right. So she's going to be 18 in December. We'll let her go in September. So if he does decide to have sex with her, she's of legal consent age. But they didn't realize that their daughter was walking into the pits of hell. Okay? They did not. They just looked at it as, all right, so what? She has sex with R. Kelly. She'll be legal age. It is what it is. We just want her to have her career. In the text messages, the mother tells the daughter, don't get too happy. Don't lose focus. You're losing focus. Stay focused on your music. She did tell her that. So that's a little battle within itself as far as those text messages and how the government and the defense are going to fight over that. That's going to be something. So, all right. So she spoke about the lockdown, right? All right. What else here? Um, okay, so now here she says that she actually started consulting and interviewing mitigation experts in March. So then she says that in the event that this court denied his request for a longer adjournment, which it did, she said this task was exceedingly difficult given the complexity of this case. The dearth of experts willing or able to take on this case and the short time schedule on which an expert would need to work. She said undersigned counsel did retain a mitigation expert in mid-April and promptly sought approvals from the MDC on an expedited basis to allow face-to-face meetings with the defendant. So indeed, defendant's experts were prepared to conduct their examination of the defendant the last week of April, which would have allowed plenty of time for preparation of their reports prior to the sentencing submission deadline, which we know was May something, right? Now, the experts, last week, April, okay, deadline. But the MDC was adamant that there was no way to expedite the approval process, so they couldn't speed it along. And that the experts were not approved until May 13th of 2022. So bending over backwards to accommodate this short timeline, the experts cleared their schedules and made prompt travel arrangements to meet with the defendant today and have scheduled visits next week on May 24th and May 25th. So reluctantly, they have agreed to submit their report by June 9th, but they cannot move at any faster pace. So, like I said, that's why it had to be moved, and it had to be moved. Because this is very, very important. They need this paperwork. They can't stunt on him. He needs that stuff. You know, it's part of the process. So I think the judge was being fair. The judge was being nice. You know, Judge Donnelly is very, very fair. I've noticed, throughout the trial and everything, she helped the lawyers, the defense with certain arguments and things that they were doing. Like, hey, listen, wait a minute, slow down. Let me help you along the way here. So now she says that in light of the foregoing, undersigned counsel reached out to the government to explain the dilemma and determine whether they would object to a short adjournment of sentencing or if they could at least agree to a supplemental sentencing submission in advance of the June 15th sentencing date. Now, Ms. Geddes stated that they would like to keep the June 15th date and strongly suggest that the expert expedite his or her report. Now, a reasonable request given that he or she was retained with the understanding of the firmly set sentencing date. So, to the extent that the expert cannot complete the report by the time your submission is due, we do not object to making a supplemental submission in advance of the sentencing date. So the undersigned counsel appreciates the government's courtesies, but wants to point out that while the experts were retained with a clear understanding of the firmly set sentencing date and prioritized this case to meet that deadline. You know, it's funny that I'm reading this line and, you know, she's being petty Betty right now, right? Y'all notice that she's being petty Betty? You want to know why? Let me tell you why she's being petty Betty. Now remember that the courts and the government came back and said to her, we cannot change the sentencing date. It has to be, what was it originally? May 4th? Is that when it was? Right? Originally? We cannot change this date because all these girls were already expecting to be here to make impact statements. And they booked flights and all this and that. You see her being petty petty? She's being a petty petty by using that shit. She just flipped it on them. She sure did flip that on the government. You hear her? She said, undersigned counsel appreciates the government's courtesy. But, there goes that but. But what? But what? She said, but, want to point out to you that while the experts were retained with a clear understanding of the firmly set sentencing day and prioritized this case to meet that deadline, the MDC did not approve for them for their visits until May 13th. So the experts have already expedited their process as best they can. She's so funny. Then she continues to say that they are not local and could not have even made travel arrangements. There goes the petty petty. Until the approvals came through. So once the approvals were made, the experts acted with alacrity. Alacrity. Oh my God, I chopped up that word. I know I did. But they simply cannot have a report complete by the May 26, 2022 if they cannot complete their visits with the defendant until May 25th, 2022. So she argued about that. That was her whole thing with that, yada, 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 yada. Right? So she got her wish. Her dreams came true. They pushed it back to the wait, hold on. Okay. So she got her wish. They pushed it to the 29th. So now R. Kelly's sentencing date is June 29th. So now we gotta wait another 30 days. Right, right. So now um if I'm not mistaken, this was Bonjean, right? Right. Now, Miss Bonjean had put in document number 298, okay, responding to the judge. Because the judge, let me go back and look at it. On the 19th, the same day that Bonjean had put in that motion to file for the supplement sentencing memo for the mitigation report, so it's at the time, right? That same day, on the 19th, Judge Donnelly, excuse me, guys, I'm eating in the background too. I don't mean to be rude, but I gotta eat, y'all. So Judge Donnelly had put in an order where she directed the government and the defendant, okay, to submit supplement letters to her questions because she's asking questions in connection to the Rule 29 motion, which is the motion for an acquittal, right? Okay. Now, it's in connection with document number 273. Okay. Now, in his acquittal, the defendant, she's asked, her first question that she asked is, are the defendant's claims about section 120, 290 of the California Health and Safety Code, okay? And in here she cites the document number 273-1, okay, so that's attachment 1, okay, and at 3841. So that's where the text messages we're talking about, right? About the traveling of New York and this, that, and the other. I mean, traveling to New York, traveling to California. So she asks, she says, the defendant's claims about the California Health Code law, right, and about the New York Public Health law, that the proper subjects of a motion for a judgment of acquittal under federal rule of criminal 29, she shows an example, okay, but I'm not, she says proper subjects of a motion for a judgment of the acquittal. Then she asks the government, are any of the defendant's arguments about section 12290 of the California Health and Safety Code untimely because he did not assert them before trial? And if so, did the defendant waive these claims because he did not raise them at the appropriate time? So, Jean wants to know, Judge Donnelly wants to know what's the whole riff-raff about. Why we riff-raffing, complaining about these two laws, and what's the argument about? And if the government knows that he waived the claim, is there a reason why they didn't do it, or what have you, right? What was the appropriate time? Did he put it in time, or was he too late? Right? So then I said, Judge Donnelly had put in the order after the memo that we just read about Ms. Bojine and the supporting mitigation expert report, right? On the 20th, Judge Donnelly then came back and she granted the defendant's motion to submit the supplement to a sentencing submission so that the existing deadlines are no longer going to extend, and that except the defense is permitted to file its supplement June 13th, so he's allowed to do it on the 13th, put it in by the 13th, and that the sentencing hearing for June 15th is now adjourned to the 29th at 10:30 a.m. And she states here again, no further adjournments will be granted. And it was ordered by Judge Donnelly. Then, on the 24th, which was yesterday, there was 2 letters submitted. So the defense and the government responded to the judge's questions, okay, which she asked on the 19th. So let's see what their responses were, right? That's what we're going to read now. Okay. So this is the response to Judge Donnelly's question from Ms. Bungie. I'm going to bite my food in a second. Really, Doc? Yep, so loud. My son is bored. Yeah, you want to speak about Amber Heard, huh? My son knows I'm live, so he wants to talk about Amber Heard. He's got something to say. Come on, you got something to say? You can say something real quick. You want to throw in your little 2 cents? What do you think about the trial so far? You've been following it. Okay, I was just asking. That's my boy. All right. So now, as we know, some of us have read this out there. Atmos read this to you guys. So dear Judge Donnelly, defendant submits this letter in connection with the court's order dated May 19, 2022, seeking additional briefing concerning defendant's Rule 29 challenges to Section 120-90 of the California Health and Safety Code and Section 2307 of the New York Public Health Law. Now, she's stating that the defendant made a proper Rule 29 challenge to the government's proof that defendant violated Section 12290 of the California Health and Safety Code. Defendant also shows good cause for failing to challenge the applicability and constitutionality of the 2015 version of Section 12290, where the government failed to give prior notice of its intent to charge the jury pursuant to the modified repealed statute. So, the government charged the defendant with two Mann Act violations, okay, alleging otherwise that the defendant transported Jane Doe, number 5, to California with the intent of exposing her to herpes in violation of the California Health and Safety Code, right? And that's part of Racketeering Act 8 and 9. So in his Rule 29 motion, defendant challenged the government's proof on those counts in several ways. Including arguing that the government did not prove every element of the Section 12290 beyond a reasonable doubt. The sufficiency of the evidence question is muddied by the fact that the jury was charged with a modified version of an inoperable 2015 version of the statute. So when Judge Donnelly gave them the jury charge, right? And that's the instructions on how to weigh his guilt or innocence in certain cases, in certain questions, certain acts, certain counts, right? They help you to understand the law. They give you a little bit about it, right? She's supposed to instruct everyone on the law and what it means, and like what was racketeering and the aiding and the abetting, and what did that mean, and what did and or mean, things of these nature, right? So she gave these instructions, and Judge, Bonjean, the defense, is saying that they were charged. There's sufficient evidence. Okay, the sufficiency of the evidence is in question. Okay, because the jury was instructed with a modified version of a statute that was not operating, okay, which was the 2015 version of the statute. And that she says that the parties disagree whether the court was permitted to charge the jury pursuant to the government's instruction. Like, so I don't know if I found it. I was trying to look it up. I'm going to try to look up the jury charges and see if I can figure this out. Okay. So the specific question of whether the jury was properly charged may not constitute a proper Rule 29 issue, but it is preserved for appellate review. Since trial counsel objected to the court's jury charge, arguing that it did not reflect the operable statute or the law. She talks about docket number 219 and the government's response found at docket number 220. Yeah, honey. No, no, it's fine. Okay, now. Um, then it says that separately, defendant pointed out in his Rule 29 memo that the 2015 version of the statute is unconstitutional and that neither the government nor this court possess the authority to rewrite the statute to save it from a constitutional challenge. So the defendant admits that a constitutional challenge to a statute is not equivalent to a sufficiency of the evidence challenge. So the defendant also admits that trial counsel did not specifically challenge the constitutionality of the law, the California law, and the safety code 12290. But that is because the government did not arise the defense of its intent to have the jury charge pursuant to to a repealed version of the statute that it also rewrote. So she's saying that her client, the defendant, shows good cause for failing to challenge the statute in a pretrial motion, as it did in the New York Public Health Code provision. So basically, she's saying that the jury wasn't instructed properly on how to charge him for that offense because the government used the wrong law, a law that was outdated. That's just my opinion of what I think I'm reading. I could be wrong. I'm not a lawyer. And then, all that aside, she said the defendant also raised a sufficiency of the evidence question by arguing that even if the elements of the statute were properly charged. So the government did not prove that the defendant was contagious, infected, or had the capacity to transmit herpes during the sexual encounter he had with Jane in May of 2015. Now, for me, reading the transcripts, they proved it. Why? Because in that time frame, when she was in California, I believe she had a really bad outbreak to the point where she had to see the doctor while she was in California, to the point where R. Kelly said, listen, this is not my problem. Your pussy's broken. What's wrong with your pussy? Right? But then yet, went and she wound up getting Valtrex, the blue pills from his doctor to help her out. So how is that not proving anything? For me, that proved everything. He had herpes. They fucked at that moment. She got an outbreak within a couple of days while they were there. The day before, whatever. 2 days after she broke out. She already had sex with him. So she already had herpes. She just didn't know until she had an outbreak. That means he had a bump on him too. And they rubbed and made a lot of friction. Okay? So I think that's what I think about that. So I don't know what they're talking about. Blah, yada, 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 yada. Okay? So that was Miss Bonji. Now comes the government. I didn't get to read the government stuff, so I can't really, I'm just going to read it and give you my play as I go. All right. Let me see what you guys are talking about over there. I know y'all over there, yip yapping over there. Okay. Okay. Hey, Mertiz. What's up, mama? Who else is in the building? What's up, West Coast? What's up, West Coast? Hey, Lady Sharice. What's up, mama? What's up, Aisha? Hi, baby girl. Hey, what's up, Take God Kelly? Give us back Tupac. Please, do. James. What's up, James? What's up, brother man? All right. So, Diva Time says ineffective counsel. I said that would be their strategy, right? Is she out here jurisdiction supporting him in Chicago? I don't know, babe. Okay. Can y'all hit the like button, please? Yes, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please subscribe and share. Robin says, I'm convinced Bill Cosby paid her to take this case. She saw dollar signs and said yes before she did a thorough investigation. He's not getting out. Sorry, Bojo. Girl, I think you're right about that. I agree with that. I agree with that. Honestly. Yep, I agree with that statement. She thought, you know, like we all say, she thought that this case wasn't going to be this complicated. She wasn't reading the news about R. Kelly. She wasn't paying attention to none of that shit. She didn't know. She did not know. All she knows is that he believed he could fly. That's it. That's it. That's all. Uh-huh. Thank you, Boston. Thank you, Mama. She probably had no clue what she was taking on. Right? Hey, honey bunny, what's up, Mama? Everyone deserves a defense, but when you are on video committing the crimes, it's hard to defend you. Woo, girl, amen. You said that. Okay, it's very, very hard to defend someone who's on video saying committing crimes. Very hard, and then it's even harder when you have the actual witness there. Say that was me. Oh, that spaghetti and meatballs was good. Thai stuff. That's all right, Ty. Next time you in New York, babe, we gonna make spaghetti and meatballs just for you. So Rockin is Bonjean out of her jurisdiction by supporting him in Chicago? No, mommy, she's not because she's licensed to practice in both states. Uh-huh. Um, yeah, no, she's licensed to practice in both states. Okay. Okay. Oh, the food, yeah, look great. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much, guys. Please remember, yes. And anyone who's a content creator, please drop your link so that everyone can follow and support each other, please do. Thank you. And guys, this link that Sharice put in the chat, please go and make a pledge to Joy. Give her well wishes. Let her know that you're there for her as a friend, or if you can offer some type of service to her, whether it be counseling or whether it be to take her out to the movies every Friday, and you commit to that and you pledge that to her. Anything. Okay, let her know that you are there, we care, and we are here for her. Okay. All right. Thank you for that, Sharice. And if you can throw that throughout the chat. Thank you so much, Mama. That would be great. She said, now I want spaghetti. Does a lawyer have restrictions on states that they can represent you in, or is it worldwide? No, Mama. They have to be filed within that state to be able to practice in that state. Yes, they do. Yes, David made some big ass meatballs. Yes, he did. He likes the big. He complains about mine because they're too small. He doesn't like my meatballs because they're too small to him. They are. It's so funny. He doesn't like my meat. I mean, he likes my meatballs, but he says that I make them too small. So, you know. Okay. Take says the texts were addressed in sidebars, and Auntie Anne said they were irrelevant and would open the door to his past. Also, speaking about his 2008 trial, she did address that in a sidebar, saying that they should not open up those doors. Also about the parents, right? Too many Indians, not enough chiefs. Yeah, that's a problem in these YouTube streets. I see this. Too many chefs, too many chiefs, and not enough Indians. Either way, all these motions sound like they are doing something unless one actually reads the transcripts and understands the law. You're absolutely right, honey. They all sound alike unless you break it down and try to understand the law. It's all going to sound like the same jargon, you know? T-Bam! What's up, T-Bam? T-Bam said, wasn't Kanik doing another case during the trial? He was. I believe he was. He was dealing with Kelly and someone else. Yes. Yes. I believe he had mentioned it too. She said, I agree, incompetent. Okay. Please hit that like button. Yes. Share the show, please. Donations are welcome. Cash App is Diva Divine Light. I also accept PayPal. And so, and those texts have zero to do with a grown man licking a child's ass and flying her across state lines to fuck her and give her herpes, period. Period, boo. Period, boo. Yes. Period. I mean, you can raise the text messages all you want, but at the end of the day, Bonjean, it has nothing to do with him. He had to take these girls across state lines, and being that he knew he was infected with herpes, maybe not at the moment, he might not have an outbreak, maybe a couple of weeks before, after, whatever. He's had it for years. He had been taking the blue pills for years, and it has helped to suppress his herpes symptoms. Okay? His herpes aren't worth any money or fame. He's in the right place, so he can't abuse any minors anymore or young folks, period. Tiger, Tiger, where you go? My cat trying to escape. I go to the closed door like so. Get that contract at all costs. You know, you're right, Robin. You know, for them to claim that they have herpes and all of that, I mean, what the hell? Why would they lie about something like that? Why would they lie about having to mess around with feces and put it on their face? And these are humiliating things that people would never want to admit. So why would somebody want to say something like that because they're lying about it? Like that shit makes no sense. Why would I go around telling people this shit if it's not true? Why? These girls have nothing to gain for that shit. In all honesty, they don't. What's up, Tune? Okay. Parents have to be careful who they sign their children over to. A lot of sick people in the world. Facts. Oh, do I still have feedback, y'all? Or am I good? Let me know, please. I believe Jean knew what she signed up for. Nah, she didn't. That thing was getting trying to share with all of us. 59 in the chat. Yes, please hit that like button. What's up? Love is fair. What's up, puppy? Okay, donations are welcome. Yes. Can y'all hit the like button for my sister? Yes. Support the divine. What's going on? Everything okay? Give me 1 second. There's things going on. Hold on. All right, sorry about that, guys. My mom just got back from the hospital with my grandmother. Well, they couldn't really do nothing for her, you know. Fracture's a fracture. And where the fracture is, she's just gonna have to lay low for a little while, you know. All the activities she usually likes to bounce up and down and roam around and things, that's gonna have to be minimized for now. But thank God she's okay, and that they'll be giving her some injections in her knees, and she'll have physical therapy after she heals, and that's pretty much it, man. So thank God that 91-year-old lady is kicking it. She's doing great. God bless her. Okay. Yes, become a badass diva for $1.99. $1.99 a month. Exclusive content. I give exclusive content, guys. Private stuff I share with only my members. Okay, and you guys also get to put little emojis in the chat, which is so cool. Boston, it makes it hard for my hearing listening to the live. Boston, I don't know if your question was answered, but from Google, Billie Jean is licensed in New York, New Jersey, and Illinois. Yes, mommy, and New Jersey. I forgot about Jersey. She's licensed in Jersey as well. Why prolong the inevitable? Just get on with it. That's right, Les Smith. What's up, mama? Les Smith. Yes, I agree. Just get on with it. Chorizo, he can have her up until they go to the other states. Yes, mommy. She's already retained as his lawyer for both states. What's up, Karen? What's up, Karen J? So sounds like Jobo doesn't need money for specialists. Blech. Specialists, since she got them a while ago. What do you know, Karen J? You're absolutely right. Ding, 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 ding. You're absolutely right. Thank you. These niggas are nothing but distractions. Okay. Didn't Bon Jean start off her attorney career in Illinois? Yes, she did. Yes, she did, T-Bam. The fans are fighting with each other. Why? When, when is that a difference, mommy? That's been going on for 3 years now. Okay. Yes, they are. They sure are. Matter of fact, like I told you guys, next month I'm going to start doing a collection and I'm going to put it into my savings account. And we are going to collect for the next transcripts for his Chicago trial. Definitely. Okay. Sharice. Okay, so she knows her way around their system too. Yes, she does. That's what she thinks anyway, T-Bam. It's still not going to help her. He's done. Stick the fork in him. Right. She's just to prolong the trial. That's all it is. Everything is a stalling tactic. She needs to try to make sure she goes through this case with a fine comb, you know? Take says one of the judges in Chicago got in trouble a while ago for making fun of her. Yes, he did. And saying some pretty demeaning things. I can't remember the judges, but she's infamous in Chicago. Yeah, it was a male judge. And he was very rude to her. Yes, I remember that. Both Kinky Nikki and Billie Jean worked with sex victims that took on RK. That's so wild to me. Yeah, it really is. But a lot of times they do that because they want to try to work both sides of the fence to have that experience under their belt. Or maybe as a prosecutor, they feel that there are um, some tactics that the government does that they don't agree with. You know, they see injustices. So they decide sometimes to step down in that position and decide to take on the other role of the other side. There's this book that I'm getting into. I started getting into, and it talks about injustice in the law and in the system. It's a pretty good book. It's so gross to me. Women like them define the term internalized misogyny and self-loathing. Mm. Yeah, Chicago left a bad taste in her mouth, according to an old tweet. I agree. Just can't see how they stomach a case such as this. Sharice and Rockin', it is all about the Benjamins. Oh, James, stop this shit. That's exactly what it looks like. Imagine going over evidence that doesn't make it to the public. He said, is it me or it is three Diva Divine? What do you mean if it's you and if it's three Diva Divine? Can you elaborate your question, Papito? It's you. Oh, damn, that shit was so fast. Sharice, so I'm hearing things right, James. One diva, check your hearing aid and eyes. Oh, but you're not a lawyer, so you can't read and understand the transcripts. Right. Rockin', you all trying to make me to get a crazy check. Say, well, some RK's lawyers don't seem to understand how this works. The messed up thing is that Billie Jean has admitted he did everything he's charged of in her motions, and the buzzards still won't admit it. Levi, where you at? Stick a fork in R. Kelly. She probably do understand, but she thinks this is probably a challenge. She thinks she can win. It's a sport for a lot of them. I can agree with that. It's part of their job. Like, that's what it is. Like you said, a sport, man. They get a high, they get a rush off of these things. So at Rockin', they knew. They just know he's guilty as fuck. So they are just tossing out whatever they can, including the YouTube defenses. Levi, still asking, what if she was turning 18 in 3 months? It still doesn't matter. She was still a minor at 17 before she reached Chicago to live with him. Jake R. Kelly, that's because either Bonjean knew, no, he is guilty. Bonjean know he is guilty. They are looking for a technicality to get him off. Yeah, I hypothetically thinking, yeah, it's illegal, Levi. I'm back. How many of those minors did Levi handle back in the day to emotionally invest in? They have to have passed the bar in that state and be licensed to practice in that state. Yeah, that's absolutely right. I think that every time he opens his mouth, those guys defending RSK so hard all come across as predators defending their own behaviors. Ah, yeah, they mimic. Yes, I agree, Tate. I will never understand why they called Canic the mechanic. He couldn't even remember to turn on his mic. You're absolutely right, Cherise. Cherise, same reason they said Nikki was a hero and Queenie before her. They told them what they wanted to hear about their idol. They can't look in the mirror and reflect on their lives, so they project onto others for excuses for human beings. Like, share, subscribe for the great content. Thank you, guys. Take R. Kelly. They'll take anybody at this point. Last time the buzzers found my business, they fucked me all up, and it took my lawyers getting involved. So, not posting here, but gifting my 5-day crush your cravings mini challenge to celebrate. What take? What are you talking about? What? What the fuck happened? What do you mean they found your business? What? Yeah. Oh, what? Okay, take. I'm gonna have to drop the link. You're gonna have to explain this. I don't know if you want to do that personally, behind the scenes. Um, you can hit me up and let me know what's that about. Girl, that's great. That is awful. She said, my 26 years in the fitness industry, so anyone on my regular or backup IG can DM me their email if you want in. Wow, that's thank you, Indigo. Thank you, Mama. Thank you. Thank you for my abuela. Yes, gracias, mami. Hugs for my grandmother. Thank you, guys. Can't listen, type what happened for me. Okay, twins. They spammed our Google with 24 one-star ratings saying I was racist and used the N-word and Facebook. Oh, no. These people are horrible. Thank you, Robin. What? That's crazy. Yeah, listen, honey, I don't know because J-Bo has been acting a little weirdo lately. I don't know. She be talking to Sylvia and she be talking to Sharon Winbush, allegedly, according to what they say in the streets. I'm so sorry to hear that. We all know these folks aren't playing with the full deck, sadly. Yeah, but we also know that those that don't have lives, so they inserted themselves into other lives. Echoes. Is there echoes? Am I echoing now? Really? Or are you just trying to be funny? It's all good. It was a couple of years ago. I've since learned to track IP addresses and use stroll accounts. Okay, smart girl take. Hey, Tears, what's up, mama? Like, wow. Thank you, Aisha. Okay, sound good? Okay. Yeah, Boho have been compromised. Yes. Sly got all the money. Okay, sound good. All right. Thank you, mama. Take its peanut butter M&Ms, peanut butter cookies, homemade, or ice cream for me. But I also eat a lot of fruit and veggies. All right. So now let's see what the government has to respond to Bone Cheese. Let me get back to that. Okay. So now the government respectfully submits this letter pursuant to the court's May 19th electronic order directing the parties to address two questions, right? So now the government says that with respect to the court's first question, which is whether Rule 29 of the federal rules of the Crim procedure, Rule 29, is the proper vehicle to challenge Section 120 to 90 of the California Health and Safety Code and Section 2307 of the New York Public Health Law. The government respectfully submits that it is not. By its plain language, Rule 29 allows the court to grant a judgment of acquittal only when there is insufficient evidence to sustain a conviction. Now, the federal Rule 29, and it states a case law, that Rule 29 only authorized motions challenging the sufficiency of the evidence presented at trial. So citations omitted, and then it cites another law that although styled as a Rule 29 motion, the defendant in essence moves to dismiss the superseding indictment for failure to state a claim. Now, rather, the vehicle through which the defendant could have properly raised those challenges is Rule 12 of the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure, Rule 12. Indeed, the defendant did raise certain challenges regarding the counts that reference Section 2307 through Rule 12, and the court denied those challenges. So those rulings remain the law of the case, and the defendant has offered no basis to disturb them. So the government's saying, listen, before trial, they try to bring it up, and the court denied it. Period. So why do we have to bring it back up again? Those rules remain the law of the case, and the defendant has offered no basis to disturb them. Then it says that with respect to the court's next question, whether the defendant's challenge to Section 12290 of the California Health and Safety Code is timely, the government respectfully submits that it is not. As set forth above, the proper vehicle through which the defendant could have raised its challenge in this regard is Rule 12, specifically Rule 12B3BB. Rule 12 prescribes the time by which the defendant must make certain Rule 12 motions. While motions that the court lacks jurisdiction may be made at any time while the case is pending. So certain motions must be raised by pre-trial motions if the basis for the motion is then reasonably available and the motion can be determined without a trial on the merits. Federal Rule Criminal Procedure 12B3, among the motions that must be raised pre-trial when those conditions are met are those for a defect in the indictment, including B, which says failure to state an offense, Federal Rule Criminal Procedure 12B3BB. All right, so let me see something real quick. I didn't get to, like I said, I didn't get a chance to prep this one. Let me go over here. About that. Now, for the California Willful Exposure Law, Health and Safety Code 12290. Now, this code is the California statute that makes it a crime for a person intentionally to transmit an infectious disease. Now, a conviction is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 6 months in jail and fines of up to $1,000. So now, in 12290A1 states that a defendant is guilty of intentional transmission of an infectious or communicable disease if all of the following apply. A, that the defendant knows that he or she or a third party is affiliated with an infectious or communicable disease. B, that the defendant acts with the specific intent to transmit or cause an afflicted third party to transmit that disease to another person. And C, the defendant or the afflicted third party engages in conduct that possesses a substantial risk of transmission to that person. And D, the defendant or the third party transmits the infectious or communicable disease to the other person. E, if exposure occurs through interaction with the defendant and not a third party, the person exposed to the disease during voluntary interaction with the defendant did not know that the defendant was afflicted with the disease, and a person's interaction with the defendant is not involuntary solely on the basis of his or her lack of knowledge that the defendant was afflicted with the disease. So, example, knowing and transmitting herpes to a sexual partner. Another example, transmitting HIV via sharing a needle for drug injection. Another example would be intentionally transferring COVID-19 to others after testing positive. Now, a defendant can fight a 12290 charge with the legal defense. Now, a few common defenses are: one, that there is no knowledge of infectious diseases; two, that there is no intent to transmit, or that there was no transmission. And the penalties are: a violation of this law in California is a misdemeanor, as opposed to a felony or an infraction. And the crime is punishable by imprisonment in a county jail for up to 6 months, and or a maximum fine of $1,000. Um, okay, let's check. Okay. Um, okay, so when is this California law makes it a crime, right? Right? And it makes it a crime for a person to intentionally transmit a disease, an infectious disease. So now the prosecutor must prove four things to convict the person under the statute. Now, these are that the defendant, okay, knew that he had an infectious or communicable disease, or that they knew that a third party had an infectious or communicable disease. Two, that the defendant acted with the intent to transmit or cause a third party to transmit the disease to another person, and engaged in conduct that posed a substantial risk of transmission to another person, and transmitted either by his own actions or those of a third party the disease to another person. Okay? Now, R. Kelly, according to us, he knew that he had an infectious communicable disease like herpes, right? And that he acted with the intent to transmit it. Why? He transmitted it to another person because he had sex with them without using any protection, right? And he didn't let the person know that he had the disease, right? So he acted with the intent to transmit it. And then engage in conduct that poses a substantial risk of transmission. And how did he do that? By not putting on a condom, or by not letting the person know that he had this disease. And he transmitted it to another person. Now it states here that infectious or communicable disease means that it's a disease that spreads from person to person, either directly or indirectly. And also, it means that the disease has a significant public health implications. Okay, now these examples will include HIV, AIDS, and herpes, gonorrhea, and chlamydia. Now, conduct that poses a substantial risk of transmission means an act that has a reasonable probability of disease transmission. And an example of the substantial risk of transmission would be unprotected sex, or sharing a needle for a drug injection. Plain and simple, unprotected sex. He was a substantial risk. He posed a substantial risk of doing that, and he knew that. Now, are there legal defenses? As we know, we said that already. Um, Now, under the California STD law, it is only a crime if one intentionally transmits a disease. And the law states that a defendant does not act with this intent if he takes or attempts to take practical means to prevent transmission, like wearing a condom during sex. And R. Kelly didn't do none of those things. None. Therefore, an accused can fight the law charge by showing that he did not act with the specific intent to transmit. And if there is no transmission, a defendant is only guilty of violating this law if there was, in fact, a transmission of an infectious disease. An accused then can try to show his innocence by proving that there was no transmission. Now, what are the penalties for willful exposure to a disease? Now, if there was no transmission, R. Kelly would not have let this girl go see the doctor. Okay? He went to see his doctor. The girl saw his doctor. One of the doctors in California, whatever. They told her, you have herpes, girl. And he gave it to you. Yes, your partner, you're only having sex with one partner? Okay. When was your last partner before him? Oh, I didn't have one. Oh, you were a virgin. Okay. Now, she didn't say she was a virgin or not. I'm just saying. So, what are the penalties for willful exposure? Okay, read that. Okay. Um, all right. So that's what we know about that. Let me close this. Okay. Now, now with the 2307 law, it says that the New York Public Health Law, right, 2307, it cites a 2017 law that venereal disease, a person knowing himself to be infected, any person who knowing himself or herself to be infected with an infectious venereal disease has sexual intercourse with another shall be guilty of a misdemeanor. Okay, doesn't say anything else. All right, I'm just closing up windows that I had open, guys. Give me a moment. um, okay. Ah. Okay. All right, that's what I was going to look up. Okay, copy text. I forgot I was going to look that up. Okay. All right, so she's raising 12B and BV. Okay, let me see how this goes. Okay. What was it again? Rule 12B3 and then B and V. Okay, so let's see. Let's go back over here. 12B. Okay. 12B has to do with pretrial motions. Okay, let's see. B. Okay, so A has to do with pleadings. 12B has to do with pretrial motions. Wait, I lost the paper. Okay, and then 3. Okay, so B says pretrial motions, number 3, which is that motions that must be made before trial. So the following defenses, objections, and requests must be raised by pretrial motion if the basis for the motion is then reasonably available and the motion can be determined without a trial on the merits. Okay, now on the merits, it says B3, what? B3, okay, so I have to go to BV now. Okay. Okay, so where's B? So B states that without a trial on the merits, okay, that a defect in the indictment or information, including joining two or more offenses in the same account, charging the same offense in more than one count. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Okay. A defect in the indictment or information, including, okay, I'm going to be, including failure to state an offense. Okay, so as set forth above, the proper vehicle through which the defendant could have raised its challenge in this regard is Rule 12. Okay, specifically Rule 12, Section B3 and BB. Now, as I said, B is for pretrial motions. 3 is that the motions must be made before the trial. So they're saying that Rule 12 has to deal with pretrial motions and that those pretrial motions that must be made before the trial. Okay, and it has to do with the following defenses, objections, and requests. And they must be raised by pre-trial motions if the basis for the motions is then reasonably and available, and the motion can be determined without a trial on the merits of a defect in the indictment or information, including failure to state an offense. At the defendant's request at the arraignment or as soon, okay. Okay, so Rule 12B3, and then it mentions C here also. That's for okay, no, yeah, that was it. That was the actual rules that they used in here and what they was trying to say. So Rule 12 prescribes the time by which a defendant must make certain Rule 12 motions. Right. So he had to do them pre-trial. That didn't happen. It didn't happen pre-trial. It didn't happen in the middle of the trial. Now it's happening after his conviction. So the government's letting it be known. No, it had to happen pre-trial. It should have been raised before everything. It's too late. Then it says that while motions that the court lacks jurisdiction may be made at any time while the case is pending. Okay? And failure to state an offense. Federal rules, I just read all of that to you guys. So significantly, in 2014, Rule 12 was amended to remove language that allowed the court at any time while the case is pending to hear a claim that the indictment or information fails to state an offense. Criminal Rule 12 Committee notes on Rule 2014 amended. As the committee notes explain, this specific charging error was previously considered fatal whenever raised and was excluded from the general requirement that charging deficiencies be raised prior to trial. So the Supreme Court abandoned any jurisdictional justification for the exception in the United States versus Cotton, and it states where that insofar as it held that a defective indictment deprives a court of jurisdiction. Okay. Now, here the defendant's challenge is properly characterized as one of a failure to state an offense and is not just jurisdictional in nature. As a result, the defendant was required to file such a motion prior to trial. Now, in essence, the defendant argues that Racketeering Act 8 fails to okay, no, wait, that's number 2. Okay. Fails to state an offense because the alleged sexual activity was not activity for which a person can be charged with a criminal offense. Now, because the version of the California statute in effect in 2015 and referenced in the indictment had since been repealed, and then she says 273 at 1 at 39, where his claim is analogous to one posited in Lamar versus United States, where the defendant challenged his conviction for having falsely pretended to be an officer of the government of the United States, to wit, a member of the House of Representatives, specifically objecting that the indictment did not charge a crime against the United States. As the Second Circuit explained, okay, so this law, U.S. versus Maserani, rejecting a post-trial challenge to an indictment charging attempted aggravated identity theft, but the statute did not allow charges based on attempt because it was one of the failing state of offense, was not jurisdictional nature, untimely, accordingly. Okay. So, in other words, accordingly, the defendant's challenge in this regard to Racketeering Act 8 is not jurisdictional, and any Rule 12 motion raising such a challenge is now untimely. So the defendant has offered no cause, let alone good cause, for his untimeliness, and to the extent the court construes his Rule 29 motion as a Rule 12b3 motion, it should be denied on that basis. Submitted beyond peace. So, in other words, the government is saying that this Rule 29 motion for an acquittal seems more like a Rule 12 motion, and it should be denied on that basis alone. Because she's trying to raise this question now after trial. No, she cannot do that according to Rule 12b3. Okay, and that's what it sounds like, a 12b3 motion. So her basis for that is denied. Judge Donnelly is going to deny this crap. She sure the hell is. Yep, that's what I see. Yep, that's what I see. Do you see what I see? Do you see what Sorry about that, guys. I just got so excited. So I think that this will be denied. So now we are waiting for June 13th. They will be submitting the report then. I believe May. Oh, where was it? June, right? June 13th. And as far as what I was talking about earlier with Daryl McDavid and the case with Chicago, now we're waiting for the judge. Now the judge has to answer back. Bonjean and Daryl McDavid's lawyer, Mr. Glasman. Now remember, Lennon Weber specifically said that when he gives his answer, he's going to do it by mail. So I don't know if we are going to be able to see his response, if he's going to file it in the Pacer, or he's just going to mail out his answer and then put it in the Pacer and seal it. Let's see what happens. So I guess let me see, go back again. I'm going to double check the so there's an order by Judge Donnelly. Okay. Right. Parties sentencing submissions will be not be extended. Okay. Sentencing hearing. Okay, let me see. Okay. Okay, so I guess Judge Donnelly is just gonna put in her response whenever she gets to it, I gather. I guess she has like 60 days, 21 or 60 days, something like that, to respond. Something like that. Depends on the motions. I forgot. It's like 10 days, 14 days, 21 days, and 60 days. So I don't know how many days she's going to take on this. I don't remember what that's about. So before I go, I just wanted to share one last thing with you guys. Okay. Okay. Do you guys see my screen? Does it look big enough for you guys? Can you guys see it? I'm wondering if you guys can see it. Does it look clear to you guys? Do you see that? So this is Mr. Glasman. This is Daryl McDavid's attorney. Okay. All right. As you can see, he is a white collar and a criminal defense attorney. And the University of Illinois Chicago School of Law is where he went to school. And he has his own law firm, the law offices of Vadim A. Glasman. Okay. Now, he belongs to 4 organizations: the Chicago Bar Association, the American Bar Association, and the John Marshall Law School, as well as Illinois Association of Criminal Defense Attorneys. Now, he's done publications on the U.S. Sentencing Commission's War on Drugs, as well as publications on Lewis versus United States and the future of federal forfeiture reform. He has 5 honors: top 40 under 40 criminal defense, He has another one for top 10 under 40 for the National Academy of Criminal Defense Attorneys. Also, 10 best attorneys for the American Institute of Criminal Law Attorneys. He got all these honors in 2017. He also got the first honor was for the National Trial Lawyers. And then he has the Emerging Lawyer honors in that for leading lawyers in 2017. Also the Rising Star honor for Illinois super lawyers. Okay. And I told you guys his organizations. Okay. His accomplishments. He has 6 certifications with the Supreme Court of Illinois, Northern District of Illinois, the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals, the Central District of Illinois, the Eastern District of Missouri, and the Northern District of India. And he speaks 2 languages besides English. He speaks Russian and Spanish. Okay. And his skills, he's done trials, legal research, legal writing, civil litigation, criminal defense, litigation, courts, legal issues, white-collar criminal defense, motions, hearings, federal courts, civil rights, trial advocacy, appellate practice, criminal law, fraud, and trade secrets. Okay. His accomplishments, he has 6 certifications, Supreme Court of Illinois, Northern District of Illinois, 7th Circuit Court of Appeals. I already read that to y'all. Volunteer experience. He volunteered with the National Lawyers Guild, Mass Defense Committee, provide criminal defense representation to individuals arrested at protests. Okay. He graduated from the University of Illinois Chicago School of Law. Now, Juris Doctor Certificate in Travel Advocacy, 2011 to 2013. Right? So the lawyer was arguing, Bongine was arguing with him about his whereabouts and how he might know R. Kelly because he worked with his old lawyer back in 2008. His lawyer at the time was Ed Jensen. So being that R. Kelly had this lawyer, Ed Jensen, Mr. Glassman here worked with Mr. Jensen. So Ms. Bongine is raising the fact that they work together, and she's saying that it could be a conflict because of the fact that he did work with him. Now, it says here certificate in trial advocacy, 2011 to 2013. And then it says University of Illinois Urbana campaign, and it's Bachelor of Arts, Communication, and Philosophy. And that was in 2006 to 2010. So, like he was explaining to Bongine, at that particular time, I wasn't even a lawyer. I was still in school. It shows right here, 2011 to 2013, law school. 2006 to 2010, law school. He wasn't even a lawyer. Right? Now, as far as his experience, it says here, managing attorney, law offices of Vadim A. Glassman. He started his practice in 2018 to present day. 4 years and 5 months now, right? Mr. Jensen passed away in 2020. And here it says that he worked as an attorney for Mr. Jensen for 6 years and 8 months, from 2012 to 2018. And he said that Mr. Jensen had closed his law office in 2018. He got sick in 2017 and then died 3 years later. So just thought I'd share that with you guys. Okay. I just thought I'd share that with y'all. Oh, wait. And I wanted to take you guys out with a little something, something. Oh, I got to put my thing on mute. Wait, hold on. I got to go on.
When R. Kelly won an acquittal on child pornography charges back in 2008, he was guilty as hell, according to the lawyer who defended him back then. The lawyer, Ed Jensen, says he was so convinced of Kelly's guilt, he made him take drugs to suppress his sex drive before the trial. He was guilty as hell. I'll tell you a secret. I had him go to a doctor to get libido-killing shots. That's why he didn't get arrested for anything else. Jensen is now 77 and gravely ill. He spoke to Chicago Sun-Times reporter Neil Steinberg.
He was basically dying and wanted to talk to someone. And I prompted him. I said, guilty as hell? And he said, yeah, he was guilty as hell.
People betray me, and I keep forgiving them.
There are more shocking moments from Gayle King's now famous interview with Kelly. Watch what happened when the CBS This Morning host asked him about his former girlfriend, Dominique Gardner. She and her mother were featured in the documentary Surviving R. Kelly.
She had to rescue her daughter.
Huh?
That she
Rescue? Oh,
yeah, she
really?
said she had to rescue her daughter,
Okay.
yes.
Be careful, Gail.
And that Dominique was
Gail,
held
be
against
ca-
her will.
Be careful.
No, I'm just telling you that these are the
No, but
allegations.
you're not just telling me this. You're saying this, Gail. You're breaking my heart. You're saying this like you believe it.
Michael Avenatti, the attorney for the family of current girlfriend Azriel Clary, claims Kelly had a suicide pact with a number of women.
Prior victims of Mr. Kelly have independently told me within the last 2 weeks that there was a suicide pact that existed when they were in his inner circle. Namely, that if Mr. Kelly told them to take their lives, they would have done it.
Gayle King appeared on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert last night, talking about Kelly's shocking meltdown.
It became very troubling to me to see him really just fall apart. I thought we were witnessing the self-destruction of a man having a breakdown, and that's never a good thing to see. Never.
I would like to give a big shout out to Azriel Clary for doing her thing. Keep doing your thing, mama. Don't let anybody get in your way. Don't let none of this negative bullshit stop you from pursuing your dreams, mama. Don't. Even if you stay an independent artist and you blow up and make your little money doing you, do what you want to do, baby. Do it. You can do it. Now, big shout out once again to Azriel Clary and to Dash Radio for this interview. I'm going to play some of this interview and I'm going to call it a wrap, guys. Please make sure you hit the like button on your way out. Do not forget, if you are not subscribed to my channel, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell on all. And if you are not part of my members only, please join the membership today. Become a part of the Badass Divas crew. And once again, it's $1.99 a month. You get to get perks, and I do exclusive content for members only. So, guys, I put the link here in the chat to the video for Dash Radio. Please subscribe, follow the video, follow the channel. Please make sure you watch the video and make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. The channel is Dash Radio.
On Dash Radio.
Woo! All right, everybody. This is Mai Wan here at Dash Radio on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I am here with incredible songstress, songwriter, singer, just incredible human being, Azriel Clary.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
I'm really good today. Really blessed.
What a beautiful thing. You know, I was so excited to speak to you because I think you're so much more than just the stories we've heard and everything.
Yes.
And I'm glad you get to live out this chapter of your life now.
Yes. Really exciting. Honestly, you know, I just feel like at the end of the day, for me, it was really pretty much about going back to the basics and really just doing things that made me me. So now it's like people get to actually see who Azriel is and what it is that she likes, and what it is that she does, and my sound and so forth.
Yeah, and I think, you know, you're very courageous, even because you seem to write a lot of your music. And I say that because when I listen to Sounds of an Angel, it sounds like a personal account. It's so deep. So I applaud you. It's not easy for anybody to put out their life on record, let alone such a documented life. So I applaud you. I really do.
Thank you. No, I really like writing Sounds of an Angel because honestly, you know, it was written from a broken place, but I wasn't in a broken place, which is the beauty of it. You know, I was going through a lot of changes. I had just got to Atlanta, and, you know, I was networking and plugging with a lot of people. So it was like I was really, you know, moving forward with my life, and I was in such a good positive place that I was like, oh my God. And I just happened to write it, and I was like, this is like such a beauty. Like, this is a gem.
It is. It's different too.
Yeah.
And I love that you're not just coming out from what I've heard. So I've heard Sounds of an Angel, and then your team sent me a little snippet of, if I believe it's called Inside Me.
Yes. That is the next single, Inside Me. I'm super excited.
Both are so different, and they're both R&B. But I love that you're not just doing the traditional R&B. It's a little experimental, a little different.
Of course, yeah. So I'm definitely considered alternative R&B, but I definitely don't like to put my sound in a box. And when you hear the rest of the EP that's dropping May 27th, you're gonna be like, wow, every single song is so different.
A little bit
this
different.
Is so crazy.
Hell yeah. You know what? This feels good, just seeing your excitement and just seeing. Sometimes I think that, you know, this isn't just for me, it's for all the people who are going to watch this after. I think sometimes we're going through so much and we don't realize like how positive we can be and happy we can be.
Yes.
And just sitting here talking to you, I'm already beaming with like happiness and joy.
Right.
So like shout out to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I got to give you a gift. So I do this part of all my interviews where I give the artist an album from my collection. I try to relate it to kind of like what your music sounds like, maybe something you grew up off, something you've gone through. So this is a little interesting. Now, what I always do is I was going to sit in that seat because I hid the gift there. But what's going to be cool is you're going to grab, it's right under here.
Oh, okay.
You'll feel a CD. So I wanted to give you this because that's the Beyonce I Am.
Oh my goodness. This is so crazy. You know what's so crazy? When I was like 15, 16, I used to sing If I Were a Boy by her. And it's really crazy that you gave me this
album.
This album like changed my life. This is like Sasha Fierce. This is
Yeah.
like me now. It's like a whole different persona.
That was my whole thing. When I was trying to pick what album, I knew I was going Beyonce or Whitney Houston from what I had read.
Yes.
I knew it was gonna be B or Whitney, but when I went to, I'm not gonna lie, I don't own a lot of Beyonce and Whitney albums, but I've given them out. I do like 2 interviews a week. So I went to Amoeba and they had all of them, and I'm like, what Beyonce am I gonna do? And then I said I am, because I feel like you are somebody brand new, and you know, like almost like they say the Phoenix, like it has to like burn out and die to come back up.
It's so crazy. You're literally the second person to tell me that. Like you really absolutely are. But that's the beauty in this. Like I said, I feel like a lot of people saw me, but they didn't know who I was. And now I feel like I just get to be so creative and so open and show my personality and just show me being bubbly and organic and who I naturally am. And I think it's super exciting because I feel like people get to fall in love with who I actually am.
Absolutely. And what's so cool is that we don't really know who you are. So even though like people are going to have this preconceived notion of who you are, and even me, I wasn't sure. I knew you were incredibly talented when I heard the song. That's why I took the interview on. But just meeting you, so everybody knows, from like the instant I met, saying it right, Azriel?
Yes.
From the instant I met Azriel, she was smiling, upbeat. It is a Thursday morning in LA. It's hot as shit for the morning time. Like, this is not a morning where I woke up feeling good. Azriel, though, you really are like a positive beaming light of energy.
Yes. Oh my God. I'm not even a morning person. No, you're fine. I'm not even. No. Okay, we're gonna get it right.
So wait, you're not a morning person?
I am not a morning person, but honestly, I've just been so busy. I've been doing a lot of productive things. I was at Vera Wang. He had a runway show.
You were there?
Yeah, it was really dope. A lot of people went out to it. It was actually my first runway show that I had been to, and I thought that it was super dope. But I've just been really out here just networking and just getting a lot of work done. So I've been in like a really positive state of mind and just waking up early for all of these events.
Yeah, beautiful. It's amazing because so many people don't even go through a lot and they quit on their dreams.
Yes.
And we're not going to go into it, but you've been through a lot, and you know, everything you went through was because of your dreams of being a musician. And I applaud you for saying like that didn't close the door on shit.
Exactly.
Chapter
really
2, motherfuckers.
Stop
Yes.
That's the best revenge. It's just really, you know, just showing that it didn't stop anything and it didn't take anyone else. Ultimately, you know, if you just believe in yourself, it's so crazy how many things you can do when you really believe in yourself.
Absolutely.
So for me, that's pretty much what it was about. Like I said, going back to the basics and just relearning myself, even me, like, it's not like I just stepped directly back into music, like, because I hadn't done it for 5 years. So for me, it was just, you know, falling in love with myself again and finding myself again. And it's like a lot of people, I love when people say that they love the single and that they're happy for me, because even I had to relearn myself and my sound now as an adult, as opposed to when I was singing as, you know, a teenager. So it's so cool.
Yeah, and it seems like you have a really strong team around you.
Yeah.
Like people supporting you.
Yes.
And I say that because one thing I look for when I listen to a song, specifically an R&B song, is a production value. How well is it produced? Because I know what it takes to really produce a big R&B song.
Okay, you're a producer?
No, I mean, I tried in my past.
Okay,
I'm sitting on this side now because my beats were trash and my raps are trash. But like, I knew, I was self-aware. But no, I think when I listened to Sounds of an Angel, I was like, she has a team around her. I could tell you have a great engineer, great producer, incredible songwriter, singer.
Yes.
So let's get into that. How did you find your team of folks that you're working with?
So actually, I spent a lot of my time writing my stuff and just going in the studio by myself. But
really?
Yeah, I did.
Without a producer, or do you already have the beat, or you're just in there alone?
So I had, so for Sounds of an Angel, I plugged with 18-year-old. He's a phenomenal producer. He's based out of Australia.
Yeah.
So he gave me a couple beats for the EP. It's another song on there that I did with him as well, the track 5.
Ooh.
And the snippet that you heard, I created with my team in Atlanta. So that one I had my friends Retro and GK, they're writers. They helped me write it. We had a phenomenal time writing it. And it's crazy that you say that because we actually wrote inside me in my house. So I have in my apartment, I actually make my engineers bring their whole setup to my house and we'll cook up. I have a separate room dedicated to just recording. But when I
Yeah.
record, like, I have like over 50 candles lit and they already know, like, they just set up everything and then we just start going into it. And literally that's how Inside Me was created. So I'm so happy you say that because it was comfortable,
Yeah.
you know. And it's like I love recording at the studio, but you know, sometimes when you create in your home where you are your most comfortable, the sound is like that much more buttery.
Absolutely.
And so yeah, that's how we created that. Me, Retro, and GK. We were just in my house, like literally just like, okay, let's light these candles. They all, you know, is lighting the candles.
Yeah, don't burn that house down. You got a lot of candles lit, it sounds like.
No. It was just my routine. Anytime I cook up at my house, like I'm just a very cinnamon person. So, you know, I light my candles, we burn sage, and we get right into it.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Well, you can tell listening to Sounds of an Angel and the little snippet I heard of Inside Me that, like I said, you got a team around you. This is like a movement. As we have Clary is a movement.
It's a movement.
Do you feel like I feel like your positive energy, just people must gravitate towards you.
Yes, it really does. Honestly, we were out last night, and I feel like so many people just gravitated towards me just because I was just so poised, just very charismatic. People tell me that all the time, and I'm just like, I'm just being me. Like,
I love it. I think some.
All right, guys. So if you guys want to see the rest of the video and the interview, I'm going to post the link one more time in the chat. Go follow the link and you guys can finish the interview on your own. Please don't forget, guys, to hit that like button. Thank you on your way out. Please. Gracias. And Diva Divine Light is out. Peace.